Welcome to Over the Shoulder. This is our special edition. It's Kwanzaa edition. We're on our third day of Kwanzaa, so it's been really exciting. We've had two great guests, about to be followed by a third exceptional guest. For this one, day 3 is Ujima. Ujima stands for Collective Works and Responsibility. And so one of the people who stays on my ass about details, about making sure that, we go over everything, about research, somebody who makes sure that I'm accountable to all my actions in almost every aspect of my life and who I really appreciate for doing that, because I don't necessarily have so many people who stay on me and just want to push me to be greater every single moment. They just think I'm great, but this person's like, nah, I see the potential in you, I know you can be great. So she stays on my ass, and I appreciate her for that. So that's what we had to have her on the show today. I call her my protege. A lot of the stuff that happens doesn't happen without her. So, you might not always see her in front of the camera, but today she's in front of the camera. But she makes sure that the shit gets done. So I appreciate her. Miss Kaitlin. How you doing, fam?
I'm good.
Good. You good?
Always good.
You always good? Always good. You smell good. I smell it up here. Smells good.
I always smell great. You smell when I walk in the room.
That's true.
I walk past air or something crazy.
All right. So cool. So I'm bringing you on over the shoulder. This is day 3. We're talking about Ujima, collective works and responsibility. So when you hear the phrase collective works and responsibility, what comes to mind?
Pretty much stand on top of everything, like you just said. Stand on top of everything and just holding yourself accountable for everything that you do in like every situation that you're in. Like even in like bad situations, I always look at different situations as if like I could have did something better. I don't just solely always blame like the next person, even though what they may have done might have been like some crazy stuff. But I always look at the situation as if like, what could I have done better? And, just basically just help myself grow and be a better person by looking at what I could have done better.
So I tell people, the way Kwanzaa is set up is how do you grow community? How do you actually build a true community? So each of these different days is like the process of building a true community, which, that's obviously one of my big goals with everything I do is to build a community. So day 1 is unity. You can't have a community without unity. Day 2 is self-determination. So giving the unity you have to give it a purpose and identity to be able to go forward. With it being today, being day 3, collective works and responsibility. Once you have an identity, then what you can do is you can assign roles. Okay, this is your job, this is your job, this is your job. And then inevitably, when you're assigning roles, people are going to make mistakes. So people have to take responsibility for the mistakes they make and responsibility for their actions and everything like that. So this becomes, I always say day 3, this is where things start to break down in terms of like business, friendships, relationships, because you have to assign roles and people have to understand their roles. Sometimes you have to be the leader and the other person to be the follower. Sometimes the other person is going to be the leader and then you have to be the follower. Like that's all very much so. And then your leaders don't always act perfectly. Followers always don't act perfectly. And so then it's like, and really when we think about ego, and when we think about, the leaders, it's hard for a leader to be wrong. Or at least bad leaders, it's hard for them to be wrong. A lot of leaders don't like to take accountability and responsibility for times where they make mistakes. They have flaws, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but even still with that, it's like, it's like a never-ending cycle. So it's like you can run away from, your responsibilities and like, what you do wrong and whatnot. You can run away from that all day, but you're just going to keep running into that same issue over and over again until you take responsibility for it and like learn from your actions and whatnot.
So how do you learn from your actions?
How do I learn from my actions? I overanalyze every situation.
Overanalyze. Is that a good thing?
Not necessarily. Well, in certain cases. It's just I just basically analyze the situation and I replay it over in my head a million times. It can be a good thing and it could be a bad thing. Because sometimes you can overanalyze way too much to the point where you make up situations in your own head. But to me, I see it as like I see every possibility of, what could happen and every scenario that could possibly happen. From the best situation or the worst situation. And it kind of like helps me like prepare myself for what I'm about to get into, if that makes sense.
It does. It does. Because what I would always say about you and your character is that, like, no matter what role or position that I say, hey, I need help here, you always like say, all right, cool, I got it. And then you're like doing research and you're like, okay, how can I do this better? We're having like training sessions to make it happen. I can throw a boom pole in your hand. I can throw a camera in your hands. I can throw lights in your hands.
Yeah.
Like it could be hot, it could be cold, and you're gonna figure it out.
You're gonna figure it out.
You're gonna figure it out. So like to me, that's going back to the collective works. That like, okay, everyone, like, can you be okay with this assignment, this role that you're given? I feel like, especially in society right now, we're having a lot of debates about different things about like roles and like whose role is more important when really every role is important.
Yeah.
At Amazon, yeah, you can have the Jeff Bezos at the top and stuff like that, but without the workers who are literally packaging up that items and stuff like that, he didn't have a $1 trillion company.
Yeah, there wouldn't be no Amazon.
There wouldn't be no Amazon. So it's the genius of him coming up with the idea, but also like the hours and strategic, like, hard work to make that idea come to life. I think that's why, we have people like fussing about like these wages and stuff like that too, is because like they don't feel important. So I've worked in factories too, like the value of that they don't give us, knowing that like, hey, during Christmas, all these presents so people can open up, it happens because of those workers.
Yeah.
So everyone, like the people at the top benefit, financially from it, but it happens because they're workers. So that appreciation needs to trickle down.
Definitely, because people out there getting overworked.
Yeah. So I mean, that's always been, I came from a corporate America setting and all that kind of stuff. So for me, I always wanted everyone on my team to feel their value, because I know that this doesn't happen without the team.
Yeah, especially when you've been in that place, so you know how it feels.
Like, that's why, you see me, for the last time I'm giving away flowers. I'm telling, because I know that doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. It's not as good if I'm just doing everything by myself.
Yeah.
I don't want to do everything by myself. I really don't. Really don't. I really want help. Looking to the audience, I really want help. And so understanding that, why do you get on me so much? Why do you hold me to such this high standard?
Because you can see, the drive that other people have, like, and I know your drive is something crazy. So, I look at yours compared to like other people, and I'm the type of person that I like to push everybody around me, and I want the same thing in return too. So I don't know. We just gotta keep going. Just gotta keep going. Like the other day, you gonna figure it out. You gonna figure it out.
Yeah. For the other day, she had faith in me when I didn't have faith in myself, and I figured it out. I figured it out. And having just her believe in me, helped me figure it out. So. Very, like I said, most people would overlook that kind of stuff, but to me, that's a vital role. I wouldn't have been able to do a lot of things. I wouldn't be able to figure it out in that moment if you weren't there with me. So I definitely appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right, so this is the heavy question. I'm coming with it.
Oh, God.
So our generation, it feels like, and me and you have had many conversations about this topic. It feels like we've taken on the mantle of breaking generational curses. Like, we're like, the stuff that our parents were doing, we ain't about to be about that life. That stuff that was happening to our grandparents, we ain't about to be about that life. We're about to break all of this. Our kids are about to have this whole new life. Right. They're going to have a whole new set of problems that, is not because of us. So, and that seems like the mantle from a social media perspective to the conversation I've had with people, it seems like a mantle that really like the Black millennials have taken on. So when I hear the words generational and curse, First of all, I hear curse. That's not something light. That's not something like, oh, cursing you having a bad day.
Yeah.
That's I'm having a bad life.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's gonna carry
And
on.
it's gonna carry on. And then generation means that, oh, I didn't just have a bad life. My parents had a bad life. They parents had a bad life, and it's been like a lot of stuff.
It's just trickling down.
It's trickling down and ain't nothing getting solved. So how do you think we actually break a generational curse?
I would say just going against the grain and doing what you want to do rather than what someone else wants you to do. Because a lot of our parents and stuff, you know, they have this image in their head of like what they want us to be, but that's not necessarily what we want to be. And like, you know, doing what you want to do and don't let anybody else's opinion affect that. Because if you do that, it's just like you're not doing it for you. You're not going to be happy with what you're doing if you're not doing it because you want to do it. And like, I spent like years just trying to like satisfy other people and doing what they wanted me to do. And I never really focused on what I actually wanted to do. And then when I started doing that.
One of the things I do tell people about Kwanzaa is that it works on a few different levels. So like you could think about it like how I just said community. When you say the word community, you think about like this, other people coming together and stuff like that. It can also work on a global world-like scale as well. But I say the most important part is that building a community has to be built within self first. And it can work on an individual level. So like the first day being unity. If you're doing one thing and saying something else, then you're not unified within self.
Yeah.
So then people are going to see you as inauthentic and they're not going to follow you. If you haven't determined where you want to go in self, then you don't really truly have an identity, and then you're going to be all over the place just doing everything. And so then what you have to think about with the third day today being collective works and responsibility. So collective works is really assigning that plan, like what you're going to accomplish today, what deadlines you're going to try to do. Like, you know the game we're in. We have to shoot, we have to edit, we have to take phone calls. We're doing all this stuff, and you have to make time for each of those different jobs, and they all have to like find importance. And then inevitably, you're gonna make some mistakes.
Yeah.
You're gonna mess up from time to time. So it's like, how do you take responsibility to keep growing? You know, because mistakes, and I feel like that's a big thing that, you know, when we think about the word responsibility, is that mistakes push us to grow forward. You know, mistakes are not a bad. You have to allow mistakes to be a bad thing. But mistakes are where we learn from. Failures are where we learn from. We don't learn from our successes. We don't. You can be like, oh, I did such a great job. Let me go learn from this.
No. Yeah, and it's like you're not going to get better if you don't fail.
Failure is a good thing.
Yeah, because if you just winning all the time, it's like, what's going to push you to be better than what you were when you won?
Yeah. Exactly. People always say with the, what was it, 91 through 98 Bulls, they say if Jordan didn't like retire that year, that they would have won 8 straight championships. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I mean, like, they did 3 and 3, but that middle part made them hungry. With him not being there and that losing, that made, you know, the other people, the Scottie Pippens who got used to 2 years of losing, it made them hungrier.
Yeah.
Whereas if they would have just had won the 4th one, they probably like, you know.
It's just too easy.
It's too easy. Like,
it's just too easy.
8 years is hard, like you said. So, I mean, maybe we can give LeBron James credit because he literally went to 9 straight finals. Or, let me see, 8 straight finals. 9 out of 10 years straight finals, which that's just a level of consistently great that I don't really know what kind of mentality you got to have. Like, that's the mentality I'm always striving for, because like, can you imagine going to the top for 8 straight years?
No.
Like 8. Like, that's like being at the Oscars 8 straight years and being nominated. That means you did 8 different films.
Yeah, that takes like I feel like that takes another level of like discipline as well.
We striving for it. We trying to grow it. We ain't there yet. We ain't close to there yet. But like that's the mentality. That's what, you know, at least for me, that's what I want. And I think, you know, everyone who's a part of the vision, who's a part of Mountaintop, I feel like we all share that together. Is that like we know where we want to go. We know where this can go, and we know where we want this to be.
Yeah, and I feel like everybody's pretty much in tune. Like we gonna get there.
Cause y'all be having too much fun on set. Y'all be coming in. I'm like, y'all just met each other and y'all already acting like y'all been best friends for like 3, 4, 5 years. I'd be like, y'all. I was like, y'all know each other through me. Y'all can't be ganging up on me. You know, coming on set, gang. How y'all ganging up on me? This is gang supposed to be me.
This man here, you're hilarious. That's funny.
I definitely do, you know, like I said, I appreciate all the hard work. Like, stay getting on my ass. Like, don't ever let up. Like, because again, ever since you came in to work with me, being in my life, things have done nothing but improve.
Aw.
So,
my life has been great too, Enoch. Like I tell you all the time.
Yeah.
Ever since I met you, my life has been great.
Yeah. It's gonna keep. It's gonna get greater and greater and greater because we're gonna keep growing.
Oh.
You know, we got big Sag energy, big Aries energy. We
Big
just fire
Sag.
signs. Just fire signs. We about to make an explosion.
We're going up.
We going up
To the top.
to the top to the.
Mountaintop.
There we go. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was the third day of Kwanzaa for Over the Shoulder. It's Ujima. It stands for Collective Works and Responsibilities. So, appreciate having Kaitlin on as a guest. And as I say for every episode, that's a wrap.
It's a wrap.